It's a scar, I think, adds to it. I think the scar adds to it.
Sick scar tone, bro.
Yeah. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Quick and Slow Comedy Show. I'm your host, Nick McQuick. As always, I'm joined in studio by our talented, handsome, and the straightest teeth in Teethville, producer Tom Brent.
Please don't look at my teeth like that. That's weird.
They're wonderful teeth. They're great teeth. They're very pearly.
Yeah, no, thanks. Did you ever notice there's a big old chip in this one here?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I felt it with my tongue, but I never noticed it with my eyes.
Yeah. It's funny because the way that I got that chip is in elementary. I think it was grade 5.
That is in elementary school.
We were playing soccer. It was foggy that day, and I ended up nailing the soccer post. Boom! Hit tooth. Half of my tooth was just gone.
Hit tooth half gone.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It was pretty gnarly. And I was like, man, that was stupid. Why are we playing soccer in the fog? But that was like the fun of it.
Yeah, fog soccer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen the movie The Mist?
Yes.
They're making a TV show about it.
Didn't they already make a TV show about it?
Fine, whatever.
It's on
You
Netflix.
win. Okay, I guess you win.
Yeah.
And
Great competition.
we're joined in studio by a first-time guest and comedian, as well as sneaker enthusiast, Cian Beatty.
Yes.
Yes. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Pretty good. You are the rising star of comedy in Edmonton.
Thank you. That's what they tell me.
Yes. Yeah. You have been doing comedy now for...
I started it in October, like on Halloween, so maybe 10 months, 9 months now?
I'm not sure exactly when it was, but was it your first show at the Strip?
That was my second show.
Because, yeah, you came to the Strip, and you didn't make the draw.
Yeah.
But then I found out that you were brand new in comedy, so I gave you my spot.
Yeah, that was
and you
very
went up,
sweet.
and I was like, wow, that's about as good as I could have done. And yeah, you've been rocking it ever since.
That's fun. Yeah, I had that was one of my better sets that time, and then my third set, which was also at the comic strip, is to this day my worst set ever. So
that's your worst bomb?
It was like I bombed pretty terribly, but that wasn't the bad part.
Yeah.
Got off stage. I was up maybe in the middle of the show, so I was hanging out and watching. Keith Saranowski was headlining.
Oh yeah, he's a beast.
Yeah, very good. But he goes up on stage and he goes, "Who is the comedian doing the joke about the bread?" And that was my joke. Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Oh, he's gonna recognize my potential, and that I'm a rising star in the comedy scene." And he just goes, "It fucking sucked," and he just starts tearing into why it's a terrible joke and why it doesn't make sense.
Wow.
Just sitting there feeling like crying, and then I remember his face because I'm like, I'm going to fucking destroy you eventually. And then
one of these days.
Then he went on tour, grew a beard when he came back, and he had a beard when he came back, so we made friends. Then he shaved that. And I was like, what? It was you the whole time?
Oh, no.
Apparently beards do make you unrecognizable.
Yeah, exactly. It's Mother Nature's ski mask.
Quite the squeal.
You haven't been doing comedy that long, but when you started out in comedy, you were a full-time student?
Yeah.
Going and learning and educating yourself?
Yes.
And what were you taking?
I was undeclared at that time, but I was taking mostly political science and sociology courses.
Yeah.
And then I kind of realized that I didn't want to do either of those things, so I dropped out like a month ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I gotta say, sociology, you might learn something useful there for like dealing with comedy, like for crowd work and stuff. Kind of. Isn't that what it is talking?
I mean, it's all about it's just like
talking to rubes.
Yeah, talking to. I thought I said groups, but rubes is also good.
I thought you said
still,
rubes.
That would arguably be more useful for crowd work.
Yeah, exactly. Talking to rubes.
You rubes.
That's okay. Last Tuesday at the comic strip, I insinuated that a father and a son were on a date with each other.
I remember that.
Yeah, and that was the crowd work that just required a pregnant pause to make it as awkward as possible before I drove it home and crushed it. I think I did pretty good. But yeah, that's my sociology degree is insinuating incestuous relationships. But so you haven't been doing comedy very long, but that was your worst show?
Yeah, that was still my worst show. I do very well normally.
Yeah, you do. You really do.
No.
In fact, you are the fastest that anyone has ever gotten, and this includes Charles Haycock, to headlining the amateur
Are you
nights.
fucking with me?
No.
That's exciting.
So there you go. You did it within a year of you starting.
Yeah. I haven't headlined anything else. So.
See, did you notice the posture change right there?
Yeah,
well,
he's like, oh.
I didn't know I was that good.
Yeah. So there you go. You set a new record on that.
Cool.
Yeah, and you've definitely impressed some people that are paying attention. So.
Is it you?
No.
Dino knows me?
Who knows? I didn't say that. Did I?
What?
I didn't say that. Who said that? What are you talking about?
That's exciting.
Yeah.
I think the mission for this podcast should be to get you to like stand up on your chair.
We'll get there.
Builds up little by little. So what is some of the goals, like, because obviously you dropped out, you're aiming for comedy full time.
Yep.
As we all are, and I'm fortunate enough to be able to supplement my comedy income with my other things. My comedy? You laughing at my comedy?
Yeah.
I'm out of that business, Tom.
I know.
But what is your goal with comedy? Do you want to do festivals? Are you hoping to get into acting?
I don't want to do acting. I'm not really interested in that. I just want to be able, like, my goal is to be able to make a living doing only stand-up. And so as soon as I can hit that, then I'll be happy. I mean, if I can do, like, I like the way that you've kind of got your business model set up where you're essentially your own boss and you're just doing creative shit.
Yeah.
Which I would love to be in a situation where I could do that, but comedy is still the main goal. I just want to do that.
For me, it's I left my job and I'm like, I'm going to be a full-time comedian, and then I was like, okay, it's hard to live off $75 a month. So I was like, what am I going to do? I started writing for a show, and then I pitched a show and I'm the head writer on it, and then I started moving around doing a couple behind-the-scenes things, getting a little bit of acting here and there, and then pitching lots of stuff. And it was just basically the goal at that point became, once I got to a comfortable place, it's like, now I'm not just doing stand-up comedy full-time, but I don't want to be awake before 10 a.m. Kind of thing. I'm like, I hate that, which sucks being today. And I was awake so early.
Poor Nick.
I know. It's Sunday, okay? It's a real crappy day to wake up this early.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough.
So, when in your life did it really stand out to you that you were a comedian, thinking back?
Probably when I was, like, 16, I think. Mm-hmm. I started, like, I was always kind of like the funny guy in my group of friends.
Yeah.
And, yeah, right?
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's just really funny to me because I know back in high school for me, there was always the one other guy that every time I said something funny, he would say something really fucking stupid or fucked up because he thought he was the funny guy.
Yeah, I hate that guy.
Yeah. Anyways, sorry, continue your story. Yeah.
But, like, my buddy, like, we'd all hang out at the lunch table, me and all my friends, and whenever something exciting happened or I had something noteworthy to tell, I'd always try and, like, figure out my story the night before for the lunch table. And I was like, oh, I'm fucking writing bits looking back on it now. But then I was getting really into, like, comedy podcasts and listening to stand-up comedians talk. And
podcasts are just like a waste of time, man.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't know who makes these and who they're making them for.
I'm actually a big fan of podcasts.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if the listeners...
Have you ever heard of the Quick and Slow Comedy Show?
What is that?
It sucks.
Yeah, I bet.
It's fucking awful.
I bet. Yeah, 4.5.
I prefer the Lick and Slow Comedy Show. That one's better.
Yeah, that's where we taste buttholes. But you've been doing... so you've been kind of writing bits and practicing bits since you were about 16.
Yeah, I mean, like, they weren't good bits, but looking back on it now,
but
it's
like think of your audience.
Yeah, still, they didn't know it was funny.
So when you grew up, like, what was the family sort of setup?
Mom and dad, 3 sisters,
3 sisters.
Yeah.
So they went for 4.
Well, they went for 3, but there was twins, so they got 4.
Oh, they doubled down on 1. That's an expensive household right there.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Shitty carbon footprint.
Yeah. Where do you line up in the kids? Like,
I'm the oldest one.
You're the oldest.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was I don't want to brag about that.
Yeah. You don't want to brag about something that you had very little say in.
Well, I'm also the oldest in my whole family. Like,
older than your dad?
Oh yeah.
Oh, whoa, that's gotta be weird.
How do you explain that to people at parties?
Yeah, that is a strange.
I don't take him to parties. He's too young for that still.
Oh, wow. So a new family. You're the oldest.
Yes.
What does Mama and Dada think of you not being in college anymore?
I mean, they're not. I think
they know.
They know. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm like, if we're breaking news.
No, it's not broke. The news has been broke. It's
okay.
They're not thrilled with it, but they're also like, we'll support you in everything you do. So they're very nice and great about it. But I'm sure they would be happier if I was in school.
If you were a doctor.
Yeah,
something.
but
anything. So they're like, we'll support you in anything you do, and I'm assuming they don't know much about comedy then.
My mom does not. My dad knows a ton, and that's why he's hesitant. He's like he was a big comedy fan. He got me into that stuff when I was super young.
Really?
Yeah.
What was your first comedy special you remember watching? I remember watching a lot of the old Carlin.
I don't know. I didn't watch a lot of he wasn't super into stand up. He was big into like SNL and stuff like that. So I would always watch SNL growing up. So I'd see like the stand up bits at the front of that.
Yeah,
but
snakes, not ladders.
yeah. Fuck, what was my first special? It must have been I don't know the name of it, but it was a Ricky Gervais special, I think.
Oh man, what is that one? Did you know he's an atheist?
Yeah.
Oh, who would have thought?
I heard.
Okay, wait. What?
Ricky Gervais. He's an atheist.
This whole
No,
time.
tell me more.
Oh, he wears black shirts and he doesn't believe in God.
Big fan of the letter A.
Yep. That's a
Wow.
big one right there.
Never would have thought about it.
He's, the British did a series of The Office. It's based off the American one.
Holy
He
shit.
plays the main guy.
After they released the American one and stopped believing in a god.
Yep. That's how it works.
You guys are fucking me up right now. This can't be real.
That's what we do.
This is Troll City, USA.
Troll City, London. So you watched a lot of The Office, which wasn't really a comedy special.
Yes.
But your first one was Ricky Gervais.
Probably, yeah, I think so.
What comedy specials did you sit down and watch recently? Like, at what point were you like, I'm gonna go to the old comedy club, grab a microphone, and say some funnies? What was your call to action?
So I started watching Marin, and then I saw like the TV show on Netflix.
I'm
I
familiar.
love that shit.
I've never seen
great.
an episode of it.
It's a really good show.
It's yeah, I liked it. But Ari Shaffir was on like 5 minutes of it, and I just thought this dude looks hilarious. And then I wanted to go see the rest of what he's done, so I downloaded all his specials or like his albums on my phone. I got really into comedy.
From Pirate Bay?
albums. No, from Google Play, which you can also download this podcast on.
Oh yeah, that is true.
It's fucking weird.
I know.
But I download all his things. I downloaded like a bunch of comedy albums and then get really, really high and listen to them and then forget them. And then get really, really high and listen to them again.
Ooh, there you go.
Just like that. And then I started listening to all the podcasts and listening to people talk about comedy and how they, all the comedians got into comedy in like their mid-20s or whatever. And I was like, oh, I could fucking get a leg up on all these idiots start when I'm 18.
Are you afraid? Because the one thing that I've noticed is a lot of people that start comedy when they're younger have less to talk about because they haven't experienced things fully.
I think that's true.
Is that something like, how do you stop yourself from getting so immersed in comedy that you don't have a personality outside of being a comedian?
I already don't think that I do.
That's a deep question. Hey, everybody just quiet. I really did a good job of that question.
That was a good question.
Over to you.
Hey Nick, you're totally killing it at hosting right now. As in, kill yourself. Stop hosting. I'm kidding. You did a great job.
Hold on, I
Good
just
stuff.
have to open up my Zoom directories.
Oh.
Yeah, do you want to
You have to show it to the camera, not to.
No.
Do you want some Zoom directories?
If the screen's black, it's still good?
Yeah, there's a red LED flashing. I'm gonna try some.
This is
Zoom.
fun.
Okay,
Let's all
so
eat into the microphones.
now remember the really good question that I asked you that I completely forgot? Answer that one.
Something about being young and running out of.
but I don't think that I have an identity that's separate from comedy. Like, I'm a super, kind of a boring dude in that respect. But I don't think that that's a bad thing, because now I still have to go through and live my entire life and do all the regular life shit. Except now I'm going through it with the perspective of a comedian. And
So
I
you're
think,
hunting for bits.
Exactly. Like, I might not
So
have
like
some right
Seinfeld,
now.
the TV show.
Sure.
Seinfeld is a TV show?
I thought he was a man.
No, I thought he was a TV show. Like, I thought it was an actor on a TV show. That's a real dude?
Yeah.
Fuck.
And he has a TV show, I guess.
Man, we're learning so much on this podcast.
All of
today.
us are playing dumb in different ways, and it's not working at all. It is not working at all.
Comedy poison.
But the one thing, like, that I can say is I did a lot of dumb, crazy things growing up, and now I can talk about them. I don't know if you've heard my quad story, my bullying thing.
I've heard some of your crazy stories.
Yeah. And a lot of them I did before I was a comedian, and, like, some of the jobs I had and opportunities I took because I wasn't a comedian. Something I've noticed now, having been a comedian for however long I've been doing it, I don't have vacations anymore. Anytime I go somewhere, it's to do comedy. It's because I love my job, and when I'm working, it seems like a vacation.
Yeah.
But like I don't. I was asked a while ago. I was offered a chance to go on a cruise, and I'm like, no, I couldn't go on a cruise for a week. That's a week where I couldn't do comedy. Like, why would I want that? And they're like, full cruise, all paid for. But back in the day, I probably would have done that, and then come up with a great bit for comedy.
See, yeah, I guess that's probably a bad thing because I was planning on like when I got out of high school, I wanted to.
Wait, are you in high school?
No, I got out.
Okay, yeah,
That
you
was
dropped
how
out. I forgot
prefaced
you.
it.
You just dropped out.
But when I was in high school, I really wanted to like save up my money and then just go backpack around the country for like 2 months on like no money. But how the fuck am I gonna do that now?
Yeah. Like, how many nights a week are you out of comedy?
Every single one there's a show.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
That's about how often I see you out there. Yeah, I don't think I've seen you miss a show in a long time.
I try not to. I feel guilty, and there's also nothing that I'd rather be doing.
Yeah.
You know, worst case scenario, I'll do whatever I was going to do after that show.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't like missing shows, and it's
Yeah, you never know what's going to be an opportunity.
yeah,
or
something
where
might
a good
happen.
joke's gonna
Like
come from.
that's exactly it. And people always say like comedy, it's an industry where you rely on a lot of luck to move forward. I think.
I'd
And
say equal parts of luck and skill.
Exactly, but I think that you have to put yourself in the most positions as you possibly can to be lucky and move forward. So that's why I like to go out every night.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing that I always equate it to, and a lot of people miss this, and it's just terrible to see, is comedy can be a job, but you have to treat it like a job
Absolutely.
first. And you have to show up, and that is the number one thing. And it's really sad and depressing to me, because there are a lot of comedians that started with me or were around before me that don't come out to draws. They don't come out to shows unless they're booked on it. And I love going out. I love, even if I am in the back of a bar and there's comedy happening and I can't really hear the comedy or something, I just feel good being there.
Yeah, I'd rather be there than anywhere else.
And it kind of sucks traveling more and getting out there. And I mean, now I'm bitching about like the thing I love, because I go out and I do comedy, but on the night I'm flying, I can't.
Yeah.
Or the night I'm driving, I can't. It's like I'm missing out there. What I've learned to do is I record all my sets. I listen to all my sets and I write them all so that when I'm not able to do comedy, I'm doing comedy tangential things. I'm writing.
Right.
I'm reworking bits, coming up with stuff. Equally obsessive about comedy is me. What are some of the things you do in your downtime?
Recording your sets, that was maybe, I think, on my third set ever. Or fourth set at Devani's.
Yeah.
You came up to me and were like, hey, you gotta make sure to record all your sets. And so then I started recording all of my sets. And going back and listening is probably one of the most important things that I'll do. Like, instead of listening to music or whatever, if I'm on the bus, which I always am on the bus, I'll just listen to a set. Ooh. And because I don't know if you find this, but when I listen back to my sets, I often think of just funnier ways to say things, and then I'll just start like riffing on top of the recording, and then usually that'll go into the bit.
Yeah. That's definitely one. The thing for me is, even if I record a good set, I find I don't know what it is. Listening to the recording, the laughs are always quieter.
Yeah.
You'll get on stage, you'll be like, I killed it, and you'll get off stage and listen to it, and you're like, man, I was barely hanging on there.
Yeah.
So I find it helps really put things in perspective.
Yes, and you can really map out the set a lot better. It's like the comparison I like to think of it as, it's like there's a burning building, and when you're on stage, you're inside of the building, and then when you're listening, and you don't know what the fuck is going on, you just see fire everywhere. Yeah. But listening to it, you're on the outside, and you can see, oh, just don't go to that part of the building, go to this part of the building. You're fine. Or
Sounds
I guess,
all right.
Yeah, you can kind of fucking plot it out and understand a little bit more of what's going on. I also like to, I write a lot and then just kind of, I don't know, I was talking to some comics about how they can't like sit down and write a joke. That's like my favorite way to write jokes. I don't know other ways.
Because actually when this is dropping, I'm in Vegas for the World Series of Comedy, and they have seminars during the day and then comedy at night. And during the seminars, I remember the one they said was, pull out a newspaper, flip through it, read all of the headlines, and write as many jokes as you can. Just joke headlines, jokes as much as you can, because you should be able to write 10 jokes a day.
Yeah.
And I went in there thinking, I'm hot shit. I write a joke a day. And then I was like, oh man, I need to step it up. So at that point, that's when I stopped caring about a number. And I'm like, I'm just going to write this time to this time. And it was so hard. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs and like business owners and stuff have a really hard time because they don't have to answer to anyone immediately, to sit down and go, I'm working. This is my work. Everyone leave me alone. No Facebook, no nothing. And just work. And to push yourself like that, I think it's probably easier for me because I love comedy.
Exactly. I think it's easier for you if you love whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
But with I don't know. It doesn't seem like I'll take an hour out of my. I try to do like write for an hour. At a time, and then an hour most days a week. But like it's not a hard thing to just sit down and do, even if you don't think of anything and you sit there for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's an hour.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've got all these different techniques for writing. Like I'll go through the headlines.
Does that help you? Because I haven't seen you do a lot of current event stuff.
Oh, here's the thing. I will write 20 jokes a day and then go on stage and riff about the guy in the front row's hat.
I know. I've seen that's how.
Like a lot. Like I am writing jokes on stage because a lot of my crowd work and stuff I try and do just off the top of my head.
Yeah.
And then I'm writing jokes off stage. But I've gotten to the point now where I don't have enough stage time to do my jokes, and I will write a joke and be like, that's funny, and then leave and forget about it. And then months later, I'll pull out my phone and be like, oh, yeah, taquitos are small enough to fit in your butthole if you stretch it right. Just stuff like that.
You wouldn't even have to stretch your butthole that much to fit a taquito in.
If it's hot, though, like you have to cool it off, because if it's hot, it's too malleable. It's just going to squish up.
Not if you get a crispy one. Not if you...
Well, I walked around to 7-Eleven trying to write more jokes for 7-Eleven. Literally, I was like, Twizzlers looked like they were pulled out of somebody's butthole. Like, they got that spiral to them, the natural spiral of a butthole. And then I went around looking at all the different things, and I'm like, what hole could this fit in, and how variants? And then I was like, Skittles, you could probably fit a couple in, like, foreskin, and, like, there you go, taste the rainbow. And then I was like,
5 skin? How many could you fit in 5 skin?
7.
Shit.
But yeah, I was figuring out what could fit in what hole, because that is like one of the simple comedy mechanisms of this doesn't go in that hole, so it's funny.
Would you just
literally monkeys laugh at that?
No, I mean they do. Don't insult your audience, Nick. But no, I'm just kind of thinking about what you're talking about. Is it maybe more important to write as an exercise than it is actually to... Like, you can write 100 jokes in 100 days and never tell a single one of those jokes, but become funnier as a result of exercising that muscle, basically. Is that why you write?
That's one of the reasons that I started writing. And I did this a long time ago. Every time I got off stage, I would write down who was on the show, the order I went up, the jokes I did, brief little couple paragraphs. And then I started doing that. And then when I started touring, it really paid off. Because then I went somewhere and I'd write down the entertainment manager's name and a little bit about him. And then next time I go to Regina, I'm like, hey, Roger, how's your daughter? Did she learn how to play clarinet? And it's like, bam, I haven't talked to this guy in a year, but I knew that. I guess it's kind of cheating, but the thing is I meet so many people, I can't remember everything about everybody, but I can hit Control F and then type in Regina and then see all the information there.
That's smart. Because I write down, like I like to do those set reports too, where I write down my set list for the night and then a kind of a brief thing about how it went, but I don't mention other people in it because I'm far too narcissistic.
Oh, yeah, I know. Like, I know.
I got a spreadsheet for all of the band's shows too, but I don't talk about other people.
Yeah, why would you care about other bands or people who were there to see your band?
Well, I just remember them anyways because I'm a considerate human being.
I know.
I don't.
My first time ever doing comedy, Danny Martineau was the host. I went up third after Ben Prue. The headliner was Rose Uchuk. She still does comedy, but she doesn't come out very much.
Yeah, I've never seen her before.
And the jokes I did were jerking off on an airplane gets you in the half-mile club, and then the fisting lost my watch thing. Because I was a pretty bad comic to start with, so those are my jokes. But I know the jokes I did, I know the MC, what order I went up in, like who the headliner was, just simple stuff like that. And I've done that the whole time. And that was a really good writing exercise, because other than that, outside of what I was required to for work, I didn't write. And then I started writing and writing. And then I had a lot of jokes that didn't work, obviously. And I had to go and figure out a way to make them work. So one of the seminars that I went to at the World Series of Comedy, which those are basically the best part of it, even though like you get to perform comedy.
That's funny because if I heard comedy seminar, I would skip that.
But they have different ones. It's not like learn how to public speak. It's like how it's how to present yourself as a business, how to get corporate gigs.
Oh, that is very useful.
Yeah, so it's stuff like this, and it's pretty like it was really good stuff. But I went, and the thing that they had was what to do with jokes that don't work.
Yeah.
And I remember the thing he said was write sketches, scripts, all the big list of stuff to do. So I started writing all my jokes as sketches. And I had stacks on stacks on stacks of these sketches. And then when I became a full-time comedian and I saw that there was a company hiring writers, I was like, I don't know what this is. So I showed up and I had 15, 20 sketches.
Yeah.
And I show up, and then everybody's like, I'm a writer and an activist and this. And then people are like, I'm involved in this, that, and I'm a writer and this. And it came to me, and I go, I'm a comedian, but here's 20 scripts. I'm like, I'm not going to be a...
Who gets the job? The guy with content.
Yeah, and they were like, oh, wow, can you do more of this? And I'm like, I've got a whole bunch more already done.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he was like, okay, well, we're going to test you out. So here's the topic. Write me a script. So I went, and I literally got in my car, sat there, I typed on my laptop and walked back in, and I was like, I can't print it, or like, I don't have the Wi-Fi. Can you just read it? And he was like, you've been gone 10 minutes. And I'm like, yeah, you only needed 2 pages. So.
Well, your writing muscle right now is so it's so hypertrophied.
Hypertrophied, yeah. So I really have worked the crap out of my writing muscle, and I was like, there you go. And he's like, you're hired. So then I had to start writing and creating, which I loved. And then sometimes I would be writing, and I'd be like, yeah, oh, that one's going in the act. And I'd just be like, yeah, there it goes. And it kind of sucks, because some of the scripts that I sold to companies, you have to sell entirely and lose the intellectual property of.
Yep.
So now there are those jokes that I can't tell on stage because they're in a script that I sold to somebody. But things that I've written for shows that I'm involved in, I retain intellectual property, so I can keep doing.
Wait, what if you wrote a joke about the joke that you wrote that you sold?
I could do that, probably.
Yeah.
Of course, then I now have to burn some time setting it up.
I'm just curious if that's how it works.
I don't know.
how it
For
works.
me, like, stand-up comedy is a sacred thing, and it's like a big art outlet, and what I say on stage has to be mine. Joke thievery is like the worst. That's pissing on somebody's holy grail right there, and I just could not abide by that. And even if I wrote a joke and sold it, and then it was on, I don't know, The Tonight Show or something, and it was in an opening monologue, and I know if I went on stage and did it, and people would be like, you stole that, and I'd be like, no, it's my joke, and they'd be like, then there's a whole argument, and the thing is, I can write jokes. I can write a lot. So it's easy for me just to go, I made my money off that, next.
Okay, yeah. No,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, are you going somewhere with this?
No,
Do I have to ask
period.
another question? Okay.
No, I just want to make sure that I got it in full extent. Because, yeah, joke thievery is terrifying.
Okay, here's a good question about joke thievery. Because speaking of Marin, there was that episode on Marin where he accidentally used a bit by somebody else. Now, there's obviously like when a while ago there was Tinder jokes. Everybody had Tinder jokes. You had a Tinder joke. Like everybody had a fucking Tinder joke.
Oh, I probably
right?
had 20 Tinder jokes.
At what point is like I guess where is the line between joke stealing and it's just an accepted premise that everybody uses? You know what I mean? Like
I think those are two kind of like pretty separate things because I think that joke stealing is fairly cut and dry. Like if you're doing like I've seen comics in Edmonton do pretty specific bits and then gone and looked up. Oh, Tom Segura did that joke on his special. But it's
we
like,
all know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I know. But like there's a difference between that and then just a Tinder joke where there's only so many jokes you can make off Tinder, and at a certain point it just becomes a tired premise. People don't want to hear about that. That's how I feel about like Tinder jokes, Red Deer jokes. I know you have Red Deer jokes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like it's just like I understand what you're saying. It's just kind of I guess that's really what ultimately I'm asking is at what point does a premise get tired? Or is it possible to get a premise tired, or is it just more possible to be lazy with that premise?
I think when there's something new that's happening, Pokemon Go comes out. You're going to have comedians talking about it for a long time. You're going to have newspapers talking about it, blogs, magazines. It's a new thing in the zeitgeist. So everyone's going to be integrating it in some way. Lots of things come and go. And that, as self-important as it sounds, I can't remember where it was. I think Jerry Lewis said a comedian holds a spotlight or a magnifying glass on the flaws of society. So it's whatever's happening. So if Tinder comes, hey, this is a new thing. People might have differing opinions on it. Let's put it on a stage. So for me, if it's a topic that is important to you, go at it. But if you're just doing a 2-minute setup for one punchline on Tinder to be relevant, it's like, no. If you don't know what it is and you're just going to make fun of it and tear it down, no, you probably could use your time a little bit better on stage.
It also depends. I think that a big the reason that premises become tired is because people aren't good at coming up with original thoughts on it, and they're really just regurgitating what they've heard so many other people say in different mediums. If I see a comic go into a Tinder joke, I don't care. But I have still seen some tremendous Tinder jokes that take it, it goes completely against everything that I've already heard comics talk about Tinder, and it's just a new, fresh perspective. They're so much harder to get, but when they're there, they're just as funny as any other joke. Mm-hmm. I think premises only really become tired when comedians get lazy, and you see so much of that at open mics.
That's the thing I love about going to open mics. All the low-hanging fruit gets picked real quick.
Yes, you know what not to joke about. Mm-hmm. I don't do current events for that exact reason.
Most of what I talk about...
Donald Trump has tiny hands. Ooh.
I still don't like him, guys.
Yeah, hey, in case you've missed it. No, I think that most of what I talk about on stage is me either riffing, playing with the audience, or stuff that's relevant to me. And it depends. If I'm at a show where I've brought 20 people or I know my audience is there, I'm going to do what's relevant to me. If I'm just at an open mic trying out something, maybe I'll do a couple little premises and then play with the audience or something. Usually I don't do anything to current events. Sometimes something happens and I'm like, oh, I've got a great one. I have to get out there and throw this. And that's just because I know it's like, this joke is relevant for 10 minutes, so let's go make it relevant right now. There are some people who years later are still doing the same material, and it's like, move on.
Same fucking Tinder joke.
It's really funny when you see kind of those old road hacks go up at Yucks or whatever.
I know who you...
And then do current events jokes, but from years ago.
Yeah.
There was one guy doing jokes about George W. Bush. I'm like, man, that was
God.
2 presidents ago.
Yeah.
Jeez. Speaking of George W. Bush, I was hanging out with the debutantes a couple weeks ago.
Local Edmonton sketch comedy group.
And we were kind of talking about Donald Trump, and one of the topics that came up was you guys remember all of the people that were just it's the end of the fucking world. This is the worst thing that's ever happened when George W. Bush
Are you talking
became
about the
president.
Mayans?
No. George W. Bush gets voted in, and everybody Trent Reznor put out a Year Zero album. This is the end of the fucking world. Everybody just thought, and then now we're here, and it's I wonder, do you think we jumped the gun on George W?
You're saying you'd prefer him?
Yeah.
Wow, there was no hesitation there.
I really would right now.
Yeah.
George W. seems like the type of dude that'd be just a good time. Let's bust open a 6-pack. And just have just.
I'm so excited to get on a plane
the first time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to America right away and find out. I hear they made it great again, so I'm really excited to see that. Also, I brought a red hat. Are you supposed to do that now? Is that what's...
Yeah, that's the uniform. That's the Hitler Youth uniform.
It really bothers me. I fucking hate that hat so much. Not because of the message, just because it's not that great of a hat.
Right?
Yep.
Why are you wearing that with your suit, Donald? Get fucking something nice.
I'm just wondering, do I need to bring my own tiki torch to America?
No, they supply those.
Oh, they've got those? Okay, good.
It's how at Hawaii they give you the necklaces.
Oh, yeah, when you get off,
you get laid.
Yes.
You get laid.
Yeah.
Either they deport you or give you a tiki torch, right?
You get torches, you got to bring fire from home, but
perfect.
they'll
Okay.
give you the torch.
Yeah, well, fire's in my heart, so that's how it works.
And on your head.
Oh, yes, and my crotch.
And,
also there. I was actually talking to Tom about this beforehand. Do you think that maybe when the guy walked into Home Depot and it's like, we need 40 tiki torches. The guy was like, man, this is going to be one hell of a barbecue. Here you
And
go,
he
buddy.
wasn't wrong.
Yeah, here you go, buddy. Enjoy your barbecue.
Yeah, because every single person at that tiki torch rally got fucking roasted later.
They were khakis and polo shirts.
Bunch of them lost their fucking jobs. Did you guys see the guy that he put up the video crying? Like, oh my god, the police are after me. There's a warrant out for my arrest. Like, no sympathy.
Don't be a Nazi.
Yeah.
I've been doing that my whole life. It's been so easy.
Yeah, I didn't even mean to do that.
It's been so accidental.
I fell into it.
I can't believe this. I'm accidentally not a Nazi. Like, oh, fuck. I did not see that coming. Like, fuck. It's terrible. It's just terrible. It's terrible. Anyway.
Yeah, me and Tom talked for hours about Nazis, so we got over that.
Yeah. No, yeah.
So how racist is your family? Medium?
I'd say like lightly racist, like
Oh,
casually racist.
Mine's pretty racist.
I'd say casually for me as well. It's easy to explain to my dad, like, Dad, that was racist. How's that racist? It's racist like this. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess.
I'd say mine was like a light to medium. Now that like old age is claiming some people, it's kind of like getting a bit more to me, like a bit more down, but you know, it'll get there. How normal is your life now?
Still regular. It's
Yeah, pretty regular. Uh-huh.
Yeah. What races does your family hate specifically?
Natives.
Is it just all of
Chinese.
them that isn't us?
No. There's just a couple they like. My grandma said that she really likes the mixeds.
Any flavor?
I guess. The funny thing was,
Okay.
we were picking ice cream flavor, and then she made that joke.
Shit. You come by it really honestly, just killing rooms.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Fuck. Oh my god.
As far as my family goes, I'm pretty good.
Holy shit.
Probably a couple skeletons in those closets. Whew, I'm not gonna dig too deep.
Yeah, no, it's
I don't even own white like linens
So
at
just
all.
playing it safe.
Well, yeah. 'Cause,
Well,
like,
just-
what if I have my period?
that's the biggest thing is like the white sheets. Then it's like, well, fuck. Now we got to put down a towel.
Doesn't Jon Snow fight the white sheets?
Though they were White Walkers.
Oh, okay. Is that just old people?
Well, they're covered in IKEA.
Oh, IKEA people. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so just let me go back here, because you said you kind of came up on like sketch comedy, right?
Yeah. Well, it's
Sketch-wise.
really just SNL. But
Yeah,
like,
snakes
Okay.
not ladders.
yeah.
I was gonna ask like what other kind of sketch groups were you into at the time, but if it's just
I mean,
SNL,
SNL and Monty Python were really all that I was kind of into. Yeah, I didn't watch much sketch apart from that.
right?
Yeah.
And then it moved into like the podcast thing. And
Well, and then it kind of moved into just like other, like I guess sitcoms, because I was kind of growing up when NBC was crushing it with TV, like with The Office. Like they'd have that whole Thursday block, which was like The Office, 30 Rock, Community, and
I've seen Community.
Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec.
What else? What else would have been on that?
Outsourced for a season. I don't know what that is.
You're digging deep on me, bud. You're digging
Wow,
deep.
cuts.
Yeah. But yeah, mostly just like TV stuff, and then from there I was like, I liked the idea of comedy the most, and then I liked making people laugh, and then I found stand-up comedy and was like, oh, there's one where it's just you making people laugh directly. That's what I want.
Immediate returns on jokes.
Yeah, why would I want to write a joke and then not hear people laugh at them? That's
That
a fool's game.
That's the worst thing. Like when I'm in something like what we were filming this morning, we filmed it. It's funny. I laughed when I
Yeah.
read it, and then I deliver the lines, and it's like very deadpan and everything, and they're like, "Okay, cut," and I'm like, "Boy, I can't wait 3 months to find out if that was fun." Like I think it's funny, but I can't wait to hear an audience.
And I don't know how you could write comedy like that, just because so much of my comedy comes from going up on stage and having it bomb terribly or just do a little bit okay, and
Yeah.
then going up another time and fixing everything that needed to be fixed, and then trying that again.
That's the thing too. I know when people come out and they see comedy, they're like, "That wasn't a good show," or like, "I didn't
yeah.
like this, I didn't like that." It's like, "Oh yeah, we're trying."
Monday.
Yeah.
Come see me on Friday.
Yeah, Friday, Saturday show, you got like your stuff locked down. You're
Yeah.
like, this is not an open mic. I'm doing professional thing. I have to wear some sort of fancy shirt on
Yeah.
stage and pants.
So, would you say that your writing is based on being on stage? That like is it? I guess.
What percentage do you do on stage versus off?
Yeah, like or maybe this is a question more for Nick, but I'm opening it to the floor. What's the difference between writing a joke to go up on stage and tell people and then they react immediately and you can kind of build off of that versus writing like how you think you would write a joke for a show or for somebody to like read later? You know what I mean? Like or are you writing the same jokes technically? It's just
There are some times where I'll see something like missing airline still missing. And I'm like, okay. And then I'll just be like, missing airline still missing. People still confused. No new news except for the news that is still the news that you're... And I'll just start writing all this stuff and be like, that's fun. Look, I made a fake little article about that. But then there'll be some times where it's like, missing airline missing. And I'm like, there's something there. And then I'm like, now go on stage. And then I'll have like 4 or 5 things floating around. And I'll just be like, we'll throw one out and see what I can riff off on stage. And what I'll do then is I'll have a couple concepts of what I'm going to talk about. And then I'll have like just a couple little lines, like 1 or 2 jokes that will kind of end on. Mm-hmm. But if I get a big enough joke on something that I'm going to riff, I'll be like, it'll end here.
I just refined my question. Is there something that you sit down and write and you think like, fuck, this is going to nail.
Yes.
This is going to hit so hard. And then you go up on stage and it's like, why? Holy shit, nobody laughed.
Nope. I never know what my closer is until I'm on stage. Everything I assume is horrible until one is not. I write so much that I literally will sit there and write and go like, I don't think any of this is funny. And then I'll get on stage and I'll be like, I could probably elicit an emotional reaction with this. I'm much more confident in my on the stage writing than I am in my physical writing, even though my physical writing makes me more money.
Right. And how about for you, like, when you write a joke, like, I guess, take me through the most recent joke that you've written that you thought, fuck, that's going to kill, and then you've rewritten it since performing it.
Is that Birthday Cake Savior?
Oh yeah, that's the last probably joke that
You'll ever write?
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
good
that's
now.
good. That's a good one.
That
He's
was
all
a
done
funny
now.
one, and I'm done.
Yeah.
But
Take
with,
that, Dad.
but like, yeah, I started writing that one in like May, and it was such a quick bit. It was really just like a tweet. It was, if Jesus is so great, why is he made out of the worst bread? And that thought just made me laugh so fucking hard that I kept just riffing off of that and adding on smaller and smaller jokes to it. And then I was like, oh fuck, how am I gonna get into this? I need a preamble. So I came up with just a big preamble for that. But almost all of it I come up with on stage. Like, I'll have ideas for what I want to talk about, but I find in my writing I haven't figured out how to write the way that I talk yet. And so I'll write down everything long form, forget almost all of it, and then just go up on stage and say what I was trying to say, but in a kind of make it up on the spot way. So like, I'll go in knowing what I want to talk about, but having no fucking idea how I'm going to say it. And then usually I'll figure out more jokes from there when I'm on the spot and have to be funny.
Yeah. I think that's something that is really hard, is figuring out how to write in a voice that's comfortable for you to say.
Yeah.
And the one thing that really helped me with that was writing sketches, writing several different voices for different characters all in one thing. Mm-hmm. That just helped me figure out different ways to get to the funny, different ways for people to do it. And it helped me find a way that I could write in a way that is closer to me, but it also helped me find a different way to get to the punchline.
Yeah, that just seems like an interesting... I haven't thought about it that way, but kind of the way I like to hit...
Wait, did you come on my podcast to learn? Am I teaching?
Yeah.
Motherfuck.
But... yeah, no, because the way I would always do a joke, like if I thought something was funny but it wasn't working, I'd be like, okay, how can I come at this from a different angle? And then I'd try and do it like that. But I guess like writing dialogue for characters who aren't you, it's almost a similar...
Because that was a hard thing for me to do in sketches, was to make all the characters different. Rather
Have
than
different
just
voices.
7 assholes all trying to jump on each other.
I don't know how many amateur sketches I've seen where you can tell that it's that one guy that's like, I'm so clever, I'm writing all these, and you can tell it's him just talking to himself, just fucking, so funny, and I'm just like, fuck off, because it's all the same voice.
Yeah.
Right? That's so always it, and I see it in movies and TV shows all the time. That's the thing that sticks out at me the most. Like, if you watch a Kevin Smith movie,
Which one?
Just any of them, any Kevin Smith movie, other than like the different really talented actors that he gets, you can tell that Kevin Smith is writing every fucking line. Versus a Quentin Tarantino, you can tell Quentin Tarantino really knows
His dialogue is incredible.
that character, right? If Quentin Tarantino wanted to, he could do the Eddie Murphy thing and act them all out himself.
Eddie Murphy thing, that's the secret word. We're in the bonus.
It's a good thing we aren't in high.
Fight zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nazi zombies, anyways.
Oh, Nazi zombies. Nowadays, they're real Nazis with tiki torches. Less zombies. What a
Soon there'll be
terrible...
zombies again.
Yeah.
Since we just got on zombies,
Oh,
top 5 zombies.
Day of the Night of the Dead. Shaun of the Living Dead.
Okay.
I think you got all of them.
Yeah, I think I've covered. Which one's the free space? I don't know.
Well, Walking Dead would be the free space, I would say.
Oh.
That's pretty like no.
Night of the
Caesar
Dead,
Romero's Night of the Living Dead. That'd be the free space.
Night of the Walking Living Shaun.
Shaun of the Dead's pretty good zombies.
Yeah.
Shaun of the Dead was great.
That was a good movie. Edgar Wright is like a fantastic director.
Yeah, I wish I remembered that.
It's one of
from
those
top
movies
5.
where, like, if you watch it, like, 28 days later, you really kind of figure out a lot of things.
What about if you watch it 28 weeks later?
You're going to forget a lot by then.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's fair.
Yeah.
What if you watch it after World War Z?
You're still going to be in love with the handsome Bradley Pitt. What? You've never seen Bradley Pitt? He's in that movie. The first rule is that we don't talk about his abs. Ooh, washboard.
Bradley
You could
Pitt?
chop a tomato with those.
That's not how abs work.
Don't tell me my business.
I'll tell you your fucking business. That's not how abs work.
The way you use them.
Right. Okay, well that's fair.
Yeah.
That's not the way that I use my one pack.
Yeah. So what's
For
your
sure.
what's your favorite zombie movie?
My favorite zombie movie, I would say, is a toss up between Shaun of the Dead and 28 Days Later.
Yeah.
Those are the only ones. Because for me, zombies are such a fucking stupid premise. I don't understand how it's scary. Except for every once in a while, a movie like 28 Days Later comes out where they make it like this on you.
Claustrophobic. Yeah.
Right? Where it's like, oh, if you don't get away from these zombies, you're gonna die.
They make a really good use of like indoor filming, tight corridors, claustrophobic camera work to kind of make you feel intimate in it.
And the thing that 28 Days Later did that I really loved is they didn't try to explain the zombies. Because every movie that ever tries to explain zombies makes them fucking stupid.
Okay.
Oh, it's a disease. Oh, okay, so everybody died
of the
but
disease.
of the disease because that's how diseases work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, or, oh, it's this. Oh, so it didn't do anything. Or it stayed on this good. It's just fucking.
What's your favorite zombie movie?
Also Shaun of the Dead.
Also Shaun of
Fucking
the
love
Dead?
Shaun of the Dead.
Okay, I feel like bad now saying that we're going 3 for 3 with Shaun of the Dead here, so I got to go the animated movie of Dead Space because I really like that video game.
That was a cool video game.
It was a really good video game.
I never played any of the others, just the first one.
Well, you've got it.
But, yeah.
Why play the others? I mean, geez, I played Halo 1. I know Master Chef killed them all and blew up their circle. So what else do I need to know?
A lot of things.
No, you're Master Chef. You're
You
a tall guy. You hit things and then you blow up the circle.
I wonder how many books you could fill with things that Nick doesn't know.
Oh, I don't know a lot. Like, have you ever seen a spaceship go into space?
I know.
I saw it on TV once. No clue how they did that. I put a bunch of fireworks in a box with a cat. Just went in the alley.
Oh my god. Speaking of fireworks, so I'm moving soon. And
Katy Perry's?
Yeah.
Resident Evil, nobody.
Resident Evil 1?
Any of them.
Those are
Resident Evil: The
shitty
Final
ass
Chapter?
They're
movies.
shitty, but whatever. Most zombie movies are shitty. You admitted to that.
Yeah.
Some
We're
of them are, and those ones are great.
Yeah, you're like, this turd tastes better.
This shit sandwich has less shit flavor.
Yeah.
This one is more bread.
So you were saying you're moving?
And I actually have a couple fireworks that I found in the trash. So for the
trash goblining?
well, no, I was walking down the alley one time and I'm like, holy fuck, I don't want to blow up. And then I poked at it and I'm like, shit, this isn't lit. And so I took them. And so yeah, long short story, I'm gonna have a party and I'm gonna light some
You're gonna burn
fireworks.
your house down.
Yeah.
Scavenger law. I mean, they're yours now. You found them. That's how it works.
Yeah, squatters' rights, bro.
Yeah, exactly. You
Squatters'
squatted, you
rights.
squatted on those fireworks. Now they're yours.
I still have my balls, so it's mine
Yep,
now.
as long as you squatted on them, they're yours. Let's see a cop try and argue with that.
Podcast.
Yeah.
We're gonna plug your stuff. What's your social media?
My social media is at CIAN_BEATTY.
Thank you for spelling it. Nobody
Of course.
spells it.
Well, I have a weird name, so I've had to spell shit for my entire goddamn life.
Yeah, you sound like you were born in Stonehenge with that name.
I was born in Houston, but
Texas?
yeah,
Oh my God! Sorry.
that's fine.
Sorry.
I moved here now.
It's
so.
the new Atlanta. Atlantis. Sorry, it's the new Atlantis. Sorry,
But-
continue.
Oh yeah, I guess yeah.
I'm allowed to make that joke. I
No,
donated
it's
money
fine.
to
I-
Red Cross.
I thought you were just shitting on it being like not progressive. It's like,
No,
oh yeah,
people
in
are dying.
ruins.
Yeah, you're right. It's not progressive because people are dying. They don't have they're drowning in their backyards. So anyway, you plug your social media.
But yeah, Cian _Beatty on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah.
And then that's it for social media.
Do you have a website where people can find your dates?
I have no dates.
No dates. Okay.
So
I might want to get back into college. Then. Yeah, just saying, if you're gonna become a professional comedian, you need a date.
actually, no, I do have if you want to come to the Empress in 2 hours.
Oh yeah.
I'll be
Okay.
doing a spot there.
That won't work.
Well, when are you uploading this?
Probably
podcast
early
upload-
October.
The podcast
so-
uploads on Fridays.
Yeah. It will come
So
up on
don't.
Friday.
So on whatever Friday this is, don't. Well, go to the Empress in 2 hours,
Yeah.
but not for this.
Yeah. Exactly. And then we have to account for when people download this too, because they're not going to listen to it when it comes out.
Yeah, this is
You assume that they listen to it.
I don't know. Drake did.
Yeah. Okay.
Drake
Fair
listens
enough.
to you.
Drake from Toronto. Not that Drake.
He starts from the bottom.
Yeah.
So I
Wait, Tom, you're the bottom.
I usually put my 780-862-1124 phone number in most of the podcasts for a while now, and so far one person has texted me. His name is Drake, and he lives in a suburb of Toronto.
And he's a pretty chill dude.
He hasn't texted me since, so he must be at least semi-decent.
Do you still text him like, Drake, what's up?
No.
Hey, Drake, what guest do you want on the podcast?
I have like a...
Giving out my phone number. I thought more people would have texted me by now, and they haven't. It's only been you.
I was really hoping that we could plug the crap out of your last show that you were doing, and then you'd say your phone number, and then I'd insert the ad of like, he'll be performing from this time to this time, so make sure to text him while he's on stage.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay. So you've been doing comedy for a while. You're going to be doing comedy around. People can probably catch you around on the Edmonton circuit.
Yeah, on the Edmonton circuit. And then starting in October, I'll be hosting the El Cortez comedy show.
Every Wednesday.
nights. Yeah.
And
with,
that's off White Ave on 104th?
Gateway. I think.
Gateway.
Yep.
Okay. And then that's in the basement of a tequila bar. There's some pretty cheap drink specials going on.
Very cheap drink
and
specials.
it's some good comedians on that show. How many hundreds of dollars
For what?
to get in? What's the admission? Thousands?
Oh, it's actually free.
Oh, it's a free show.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
wow.
Fucking crazy.
There you go. But it's not an open mic, so they aren't going to see people
Yeah, no,
experimenting with crappy jokes.
You get to see me picking people I like and want to see do comedy. Like this,
Wow.
I want people to know this show isn't for them. It's for me only.
Okay,
to
but
watch comedy
they can
that
still
I like.
come.
Yeah, they can come if they want.
Okay, good. There you go. You can come if you want to. You can leave your friends behind. But if your friends don't come, then they don't come. And they are not friends of
They're
mine.
not going to be laughing anyway.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Anyway.
Set your standards low. As always, if you guys listen to this on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Google Play, any of that junk, Make sure you like, favorite, subscribe, buttons, stars. I don't know what the things do. Click them. They're good. Help me out. And as always, go check out the Facebook page, facebook.com/quickandslow. That's where we got all the episodes, video. We got giveaways, fun stuff. Go there, like it, and then there's a turn on notifications so you know when things are posted. Anyway, I've been Nick McQuick. Do your thing.
The only thing that's not up on the Facebook is shitty content.
Okay, guys, music is done by Ben Sounds. Go check out the Facebook page for all of our live podcasts and giveaways. Follow us on Twitter to get the fastest updates. And please give us some stars on iTunes. Thank you so much for listening to this. We had an amazing time making it, and I hope you guys enjoyed it half as much as we do. Keep on listening to podcasts in the free world. Good night, or morning. Uh-oh.
Good knock, guys.
That's a normal thing.